say we get this show started?
Ready to ramble.
Ugh. Todd, you got your topic ready? Because you're going first.
I'm going first. I had a couple in my brain. Might do ladies' choice then. I might present you with two, and you pick. You guys pick one.
Oh boy.
Shaniqua's choice.
Oh god.
It's ladies' night. Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night. Wow. Todd. Okay. Start the start. Oh man, start the show, Corey. Start it.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to NGR Radio, episode 25. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, the man in the ugly Christmas sweater, Matthew Keel. Matt, I'm concerned that you're here. I'm just kidding. I'm so glad you're here.
Anyway, I just want to say I am not like I was having a not so great day today, but when Todd started dancing, it made me happy. Like there's no sort of comfort food that could make me happier right now. So thank you, Todd.
Yum 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 yum.
And joining us from Secret Friends Unite,
the biggest Steely Dan fan ever.
Oh boy,
Steely Dan can gargle my balls.
And this is why we have an explicit tag on our podcast.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I have missed this a lot. Yeah, and it's actually good to have Corey with us this time.
Right?
Yay. Hey, Matt was the one that wasn't here the last time.
Yeah, I showed up halfway through, though.
That's true. You were like in a parking garage or walking somewhere. That was very odd, but very fun.
And I looked like a shiny Pokemon because it was so humid outside.
We need to have you on more than every 20 episodes. It needs to be like every 20 minutes. We need to have Todd back.
Yes, 20 minutes. It's our Oxtra update.
Hey, my wife is actually going back to school for her master's in January, so I will probably have a little more time. So
yes.
Congratulations to your wife.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got 2 years of fun. She's going for her master's of literary fiction. So she wants to be an author. So there you go.
So she's going to write a book about how awful this podcast is. But change all the names.
Hopefully there will be no book.
Please don't be. I won't even charge anything for my name. I won't be famous.
Or infamous. Yeah.
No. No, I don't want to be a half-ass story with mediocre choices and okay game mechanics.
Instead of Nerds Gone Rogue, it's going to be Geeks Gone Wild.
Hey, I'm just only I'm wearing nothing underneath these clothes, so watch out.
Hey, me neither.
I'd stand up and show you my sweater, but I don't have pants on, so.
You don't have the Santa hat panties?
No, it's not cold enough. It's just it hasn't been that rough of a winter, so I'm walking around. I'm out and I'm proud tonight, except for this Christmas sweater and collared shirt.
Oh boy!
So don't make me get up, Corey.
Sit down. Stay seated.
Well, this is episode 25. We've made it 6 months and haven't missed an episode. So congratulations to us, Matt.
Happy anniversary! Oh my goodness, Silver! I didn't bring anything for you guys.
It's okay. You brought your soul in your.
I got these
glasses.
silver mirrored glasses. It's fine.
I got this.
So precious.
I got this
stretching.
I got this free T-shirt from a St. Jude walk that was 2 years ago.
Awesome.
For curing cancer. So, yay me.
Did you pay $1 and get it for free?
No.
That's the question.
You pay $1, you get this for free.
What a bargain.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Todd, you missed it last week. We did Sean Connery reads Dr. Seuss.
Oh man.
Fish, two fish.
Red fish, blue fish.
Money penny.
Where's thing one and thing two? Why do they hang out with a cat who wears a hat?
I'm a dragon, damn it. What's that?
No, Sam, I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in my socks. I do not like them in a box. I only like to fix clocks.
That's fantastic.
All right, so Todd, you are the guest of honor. What is your topic?
Okay. It's ladies' choice, so I've got two topics. You know, one is more timely, one is timeless. Corey, you just announced that you potentially might be entering unclehood, so this is going to be another topic. So, topic one is, what franchises that currently Nintendo does not do would you like to see them venture forth and put on the Switch?
What franchises?
That Nintendo does currently not do. Think of, they don't really do any, like, I guess you'd think like brawler games. They don't do any real hardcore RPGs. They don't do real sports games anymore, really. They don't do shooters, except for Splatoon. But I mean, if you think about that. So if you think of what Nintendo does, but what type of franchises or genres, maybe is a better term, would you like to see that Nintendo doesn't currently do, or they lack on the Wii U, would you like to see them do on the Switch?
I have a good one for this because I just had this conversation with a friend of show, Edward Varnell.
Oh, Eddie.
And we had this conversation.
Eddie V.
It's kind of okay. So it's kind of.
Do you want that one? Do you want that one?
But I don't really get.
Or well, no. I mean, you can go back to that. But the other one was: do you want to, or what classic series from your youth that is currently dead would you like to see resurrected?
Arrow the Acrobat.
And put on the Switch. So, Matt, you get a vote too.
So what franchise from the youth there are choices are what franchises from our youth would I like to be resurrected?
Correct.
Or what franchises that Nintendo currently does not do would I like to see on the Switch?
Correct.
Okay.
I vote the first one, but
see, I vote the second one. Mainly because I have a really good like diatribe because I know exactly what I want to say.
Okay, well, why don't we
How about this? Corey,
you can do both.
Corey, you do yours, I'll do you do you, I'll do me. Todd can do us. I don't know. It just got weird.
Human centipede is what you're asking for.
Oh.
Yes. Who's the butt? 1, 2, 3. Not it.
I want to be the end. Wait, no, it's right the right. Wait, no, it's the front. The front.
Oxtra's the ass.
Wait, you're supposed to be the front's the good end, right? Oh my goodness. Be the front.
Corey?
Okay, Corey.
I'm just thinking of that South Park episode now with the.
It won't read.
Nobody reads the.
No, Kyle, I don't want to eat the bad seafood. I'm so sorry, Kyle.
You can do it, Kyle. We believe in you.
No one reads those disclosures.
Oh man. Okay.
So
Matt,
what's the topic?
You go first.
Okay. One of my all-time favorite games that I always forget about is the original Pro Wrestling on the NES.
Oh, so wait, Pro Wrestling, or was it with Starman?
With Starman.
Okay, yeah.
With Starman, Amazon, like I wish Nintendo would find a way, kind of in the way they resurrected Punch-Out on the Wii. I wish they would attempt to find a way to resurrect a game like that. Now, especially in the time where we're post PSX 2016, post games like Rocket League coming out or Overwatch to a degree. I think there could be a way to update that game. Maybe not do the same thing. Well, no, we'll keep it Pro Wrestling, but give it some deeper combat, probably more characters. Find a way to add characters to it, very much in the way Overwatch has, but I understand that comes with like balance changes and upkeep and a lot of stuff that, you know, in fact, now that I'm even talking about it, I know Nintendo will never do. So I'm kind of just wishing on a star that will never shine. But I always had a blast playing those games. My friends and I, growing up, loved playing those games. And, you know, resurrect Starman, because Starman was amazing in that
Was
game.
he supposed to be like Macho Man Savage? That was kind of like
No. The one who was supposed to be like Macho Man Savage was it was the I think it was the character that actually sort of looked like Ric Flair. I don't remember. I don't remember. I always forget his name, but the mechanics in that game were very deep for an NES game, and you know you see things like Gang Beasts coming out, and you see like the Giant Bomb people and the Harmonix people at every PAX doing the Rumble that they do, where they take an old WWE game. You know, there's clearly an interest in this type of thing. So do an outlandish pro wrestling game where you have wacky characters and silly abilities. Find a way to do like a Royal Rumble or even a Survivor Series. Look at me, I'm throwing out WWE stuff, and I
was that the one with Doink where you'd hit people and it was like...
No, that was actually a WWE game. That was actually because he was actually a wrestler.
Oh yeah, I mean the license obviously they couldn't get. There's not been an arcade wrestling game in forever.
Right, but like, you know, do that, and you maybe do it online, kind of like with I mentioned PSX, like they brought back Windjammers. And you know, and Windjammers I legit loved. I legit spent allowances playing that game at an arcade in Des Moines where I grew up.
I literally had never heard of Windjammers until
I hadn't either.
Listening to Giant Bomb.
Yeah, like Windjammers, like it was one of the. Well, see, Neo Geo was such a weird thing, especially in the Midwest. Like it was just odd. But when you saw those multi-game arcade systems that said Neo Geo all over it, I was like, there was something that always drew me to those. And
Magician Lord.
Yeah, there you go. But you know, those I think that there's a way to do arcade sports still. The NBA Jam idea is still a fun thing, as long as you don't sim all over it.
What? That sounds bad. Sim all over it.
I chose my words, Todd.
Well, you know, it's funny because Nintendo used to do all of those. Like they had NES hockey. They used to have games like that where they would just do a generic version of a sport, and it was absolutely. You had Fat Mario and Skinny Mario, and you know, regular Mario, and you know, where I would love to have Nintendo. That's where I think maybe the Switch and this could help you out, Matt. If they can't, if they want to partner with EA, make a Nintendo arcade mode in the Madden version of the Switch. Yeah. You could do crazy stuff. Have 2K, you know, have a Mario, you know, mode in 2K. That's how I think Nintendo recaptures some core audience with some of those franchises. Add a Nintendo mode. How awesome would that be?
I mean, I also think, like, I mean, speaking of arcade sports, you want a franchise to come back, Baseball Stars.
Oh yeah, was that
Neo Geo?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was an SNK property, and Baseball Stars 2, I actually still believe is better than any baseball game I've ever played, because it was just I didn't because everybody was fake. I didn't care like what team I played on, and then you were able to save stats and move forward, and you could progress in ways, and people could get better. And there was a certain amount of personal investment you had after a while. And I thought that was a cool thing, rather than just saying, hey, I've got this sports team with this star, so I'm going to be good because I have this star, you know. But yeah, no, arcade sports is there's an audience for that, or at least somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I really want to believe that.
Well, every year I try to play Madden, and I'm absolutely horrific at it. I just want NFL Blitz. Or make it Pro Football Blitz or Canadian Football Blitz, whatever. Go with the Canadian Football League. Nobody who's using that.
All pro football stuff.
Remember that Blitz game?
Super Turbo Championship Edition.
Remember that Blitz game that Corey? Do you remember this Blitz game where it was
Lawrence Taylor?
Lawrence Taylor. It was Blitz, but it was like Blitz.
It was like the league.
Where they were like
they made two of
them and weird stuff storylines.
Yeah, you had to they weave storylines into the season and the franchise modes to where like you had like players were using steroids, but then they would get injured easier, so you'd have to spend money on like cortisone shots or something. Like it was ridiculous.
Stuff that you'd never be able to get away with in NFL, but not having a license obviously kind of kills football.
Yeah.
But I think people are like, I think people would be down for that now though. I just think like that game or like All Pro Football, the one that 2K tried to do with like the old players, 2K8 or whatever. That game was really fun. I had it, but I don't know. And the one that I always go back to is NBA Street, specifically the one for GameCube, is because they had like the Mario team.
Mario would be playing against NBA players. Right?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
NBA Street was fun. NBA Street was amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And like, I just remember playing that, and I was like, "This is awesome. I want more of this." And then the NBA shut it down because they didn't want like the thug life being NBA being portrayed as like a thug thing.
Whatever. They didn't want us to put the sport back in sports.
Jeez. But yeah, what are some other sports games that I would like to see it? I mean, I know like Punch Out came on the Wii, but I would like to see like a full, like, I don't know, like what if they put Punch Out, mix that with like Fight Night or something? You know,
well, see, I was
full-on story mode in there where you actually are training Little Mac.
As you started with that, like, you remember Ring King? Like, I don't think anybody remembers.
Oh yeah, Ring King.
Yeah.
Ring King was like the first.
Other if you got too tired.
Yeah, it was like the first like super deep, boxing game, and I think if they found a way to marry Punch Out's outlandishness with the Ring King mechanics, like there could be something there.
Well, remember what was that one game, Ready to Rumble on Dreamcast?
Oh, Ready to Rumble was great.
Awesome.
Oh,
it was
so
over
good.
the top and goofy, and you got letters coming up if you got a combo. And
you had to spell out Rumble. Oh, man. That dude with the afro was amazing.
Oh, my gosh. With like the smiley faces on his boxing gloves.
Yep. It's the only Dreamcast game I have any sort of real memory of.
And that was a launch title, I think, too.
Yeah.
It was.
And then they ported both of them to I think they ported both of them to N64 at some point.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And I think didn't they port them to last gen too at some point? And
that would be like PS1.
They ported. I think they ported them to PS3 and.
Oh, gotcha! Like remasters or something.
Yeah, and they just did not. It just did not run well.
No.
Did not run well at all.
Matt, don't stand up. We don't want to see you. No pants.
I'm not. Pants off, dance off, Corey. Huh?
as long as you're dancing in your chair.
Oh boy.
Huh? You want to get me on my feet doing a cabbage patch? Huh? Huh? Want me?
I don't know what that means.
Cabbage patch.
Wow. Yeah. See, Todd will show you.
I can do lots of dance moves.
Mm-hmm.
Do the sprinkler, Todd.
Oh my goodness.
We can mow the lawn.
Exactly.
We can climb the corporate ladder.
We can grocery shop.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
so
I'm not gonna dab, so don't even say it.
Oh, my son is Count Dabula. He loves dabbing. Oh my goodness.
Count Dabula.
Count Dabula.
Oh no, Todd!
Yes,
raise that shorty right, son.
Oh, he's a maniac. Oh, I didn't tell you, Corey. He actually created a Mario Maker level based on Secret Friends Unite. I will have to share it. I need to play it. And I'm like, you think anybody can finish this? He goes, yeah, Dad, I had to finish it. I'm like, That doesn't mean anything.
I can just see Todd having this conversation with his son. Yes, but you're insane.
Exactly. You record me playing it, I would go insane. I'd throw down the controller, toss it.
Oh my gosh, that was. I still have nightmares about Mario Maker.
It brings back nightmares.
Well, see, you beat my level quicker than you beat Todd's son's, right?
Yeah, because your level was easier than his.
Yeah, because I left you all sort. Well, the reason is I left all sorts of shortcuts because I got sick of trying to beat it. So I just kept on throwing stuff in there.
Have either of you played the 3DS version of that game?
No, I don't want. I won't buy a 3DS, but no, I've not. And it's basically Mario Maker. It's like half the game, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no online sharing, but you can share when you're next to each other, I guess. More of that, Pokemon local sharing. Yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd.
Because it's 1994 all over again.
Where's my link cables?
Oh God! Set it up.
I need my link cables. Nothing. Love
Umbilical
you.
cords.
Tell her to make you a sandwich. Tell her to make you a sandwich.
Make me dinner.
Make me some pie.
Make me a sandwich.
Oh no!
Change my bucket.
Now say more hot pockets.
No, I'm not saying that.
Bathroom.
Mom, more hot pockets.
Bathroom.
Make me pie.
What do we do now? Now we play the game.
When I helped, I say helped as sort of pejorative, but I helped Moose Cool get a platinum in Bloodborne. We just recently wrapped that up, and right after he got the trophy, he's like, "Well, now what do we do?" And I said, "Now we play the game."
Oh, that sounds horrific. Oh my God.
It's a lot easier than you think it is, Todd.
I've only beat the first boss. I've only beat the first boss. I kind of just sighed and exhaled after I beat the first boss, and I kind of said, I don't even have to do anything more. I've done something.
Dude, I will help you.
That one dude, the crazy second boss, I try to get him, and he drives me nuts.
Gascoigne?
And he turns into that monster thing.
The wolf, yeah. That's Father G, Father Gascoigne, yeah.
Yeah, he drives me nuts.
Matt, we need to play more.
Just why don't you guys do Corey? You know what? Here's the thing. You say that, but then you never let me know.
It's true.
Matt, if you see me online, drag me, I will play. It's a deal. I will play.
Okay. When are you on? I will. I'm going to massage my schedule. So
I will have a lot of free time.
Okay. We are going to coordinate something. I will stream it.
Okay.
I don't even care if you platinum it. I will get you through that game. You will beat every boss in that game by the time I'm done with you.
I might have to prepare in advance to get myself back. I haven't touched the game in 6 months. So
that's fine.
That's
fine. Don't worry. I'll help you.
Remember which buttons do what and where to go.
I'll help you with all. Dude, if I can get John Martin through 3 bosses, he thought it was Call of Duty. He was trying to shoot everybody in that game.
Oh, God. I remember the first time
he's like, I can't fight. I'm out of bullets. I'm like, why are you using bullets? He's like, because I have a gun. I'm like, no, this isn't Call of Duty. He's like, that's racist.
Oh. The first time I played that game, my weapon apparently broke. I didn't know weapons could break down. So I'm trying to kill things with weapons. It's doing no damage. I'm like, what the hell? How do I know this? How do I Yes.
They don't tell you a lot.
No, they don't.
Nope.
It's
still fun, though.
It's still fun. Still fun.
Still fun.
Yes. Okay, Corey, it's your turn. So what we talked about was what basically dead franchise would you like to see resurrected for the Switch?
I want to. Okay, so this is kind of a cheat, but stick with me here. Okay, so Metroid hasn't come out since the Wii, but we haven't really gotten a Metroid Prime game since 2008, I think. So I want a Metroid Prime game, but I think that Nintendo doesn't have anything to compete in the first-person shooter space. So, I would like a single-player campaign that's Metroid Prime 4. Leave that alone. Keep it there. But I would like a co-op type experience where you build your bounty hunter, you unlock like weapons and armor pieces and things to upgrade yourself to make you more powerful, faster, jump higher, scan more things. What?
Why are you talking about Destiny?
I'm not talking about Destiny. I knew you were going to say that.
Like,
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm like, here. Wait, we're going down this road. If you say Sparrow, I am hanging up.
I was going to call it a Robin, but that's okay.
Okay, now I'm back in.
Screech owl.
I'm back in.
The galactic. Oh, boy.
But like, I think it would be cool to have something like that to keep that game in people's minds, and to have like a full-on multiplayer suite where you could keep what you have on your co-op type bounty hunter and take it into multiplayer and play like a full-on multiplayer suite like Halo or something like that. You know, I think people would really dig that. I know the internet would complain about it for like 5 minutes, but then I think everybody would like it, and I think it would sell more copies of Metroid. I think it would get more people interested in Metroid, and then it would sell more copies, make more money, and then people would buy more Metroid games.
Well, what do you think about this, Corey? Because Federation Force tried to do PvE.
Yeah, and I think
but it was the wrong platform, right?
I think if that was on Wii U and it had the right control scheme and the right type of co-op experience, the ones that we're used to on PlayStation and Xbox, I think that game would have been awesome. I actually liked what I played of Metroid Prime Federation Force, except that game is built around co-op once you get through the first 3 or 4 levels, because like those bosses don't scale. Like they're built for 3 or 4 players shooting at this thing. And like I think that Federation Force was like their experiment into adding this type of co-op experience to a proper console Metroid game. And I fully believe that they're going to bring this type of experience to whatever Metroid, the next 3D Metroid is. You know, I know people want the 2D Metroid, and that's fine. I would like plenty of those. Like if they released one of those every 2 years, I would be super happy with that for $30 to download. But I also think that Metroid Prime is the franchise to go to for a first-person shooter type experience. You know, the campaign can be, let's explore, let's scan, let's shoot some enemies, but let's go explore, let's find new areas, let's find new weapons, let's find secrets. But there's no reason why there can't be a co-op experience in there too. And I really think that Federation Force was their experiment to try to get it because it's a lot cheaper to develop for 3DS than it is for a failing platform in the Wii U. And I really think that they're going to bring that to the Switch. I really do.
I never played it, and I liked the premise, but the fact that it was missing really 2 things. The right controller or the right console, because, you know, trying to do first-person perspective, that little nub and thing, not a good idea. Mm-hmm. And then the other part was the lack of voice in the game, which if you're all together in the same room, you can talk to each other. But when you're trying to do like complex mechanics to do something, imagine playing Destiny without voice chat. That's what I always tell people. You can't do it. You scale back then the ability to actually have complex boss battles because everybody's doing their own thing. So I think that sounds like an awesome premise because they've never done a big experience like that with multiple people. That's not it's kill Mario characters or something like that. And Splatoon is a perfect example of what I think is a perfect idea for a game, but they need a PvE mode where you're taking down a boss with 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, I think they'll do something like in the next Splatoon. I think they'll do something like that too, because I think, I feel like with everything we've seen with Switch and what we're seeing, and I feel like Nintendo is learning from their mistakes, and I feel like they took a hard hit on the Wii U, and they are starting to look at games like Skyrim. Like you look at Breath of the Wild, it's clearly going after that Skyrim crowd. Whatever Nintendo says, it's clearly going after that crowd. The Switch. Everybody thinks Nintendo handhelds are far superior to anybody else's, but everybody buys PlayStation and Xbox for their console experience. You know, Switch is that hybrid that everybody wanted it to be, where you can play your handheld games on the TV. And I fully think that Nintendo's learning from their mistakes and that they're going to try to complement their great single-player experiences with these experimental multiplayer experiences that they've had on 3DS and, like, add them to other games. Like Splatoon, like you said, is a great example. I think Star Fox could be up next. I feel like Star Fox, they could do some cool things with Star Fox if they just sat down and worked with it, you know? I just think Nintendo's looking at these other companies and saying, we need to do something.
How did Star Fox not have a multiplayer, like, dogfight mode?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, that wasn't, like, the big issue I had with Star Fox. It was more the control scheme. Like, I thought Star Fox controlled garbage, unless you were playing co-op with that second controller. Like, that was, like, the only way.
That game bored me to tears because it felt like a throwback game. I mean, it looked okay, but yeah, I just felt like there was nothing compelling me to keep playing that game. Didn't feel like it was that interesting. I don't know. I think people have a lot of nostalgia for Star Fox, but quite honestly, those characters are not engaging whatsoever. The things that come out of their mouths are like, oh, they're not very clever, and I'm like, just because it's Nintendo, not everything is gold, and you know,
it's true.
You know, so I would like to see them try new things, and I think that's a perfect example. Do some new things with Metroid. Have a single player campaign, but you could make either a standalone multiplayer game or make that a robust tying in your progress as you're a character, you know, from the main campaign, and bring him in and saying, okay, now we're going to mount up. This level of this beast I need to beat is too big for me, kind of like a Destiny, where you could then drop in with your buddies and make a multiplayer, you know, version of the game. I don't know.
Yeah, and unlike Destiny, I feel like Nintendo would do a great job of, like, teaching you what to do, how to build your character, what the different things do. Like, if there's currency in the game, I'm sure Nintendo will simplify it and give us one currency instead of 47 like Destiny does. I feel like a co-op experience, building a bounty hunter and then taking them into co-op or PvP would be an awesome experience. And I think Metroid is the perfect franchise to do that with. Like, you look at the different armor sets Samus has alone. Like, you could go through and say, okay, this is like this Zero Suit does something like makes you faster, but it takes away, like, you have less defense and less health. Or, you know, you put on the power armor, you are super powerful, but you're slower. Or, you know, it grants you special abilities like, you know, I don't know. Even look at, like, a game like Overwatch where each character has a special ability. Like, you build your character to be the tank going into a multiplayer match, or you build a character to be the offensive guy, or you build the stealth guy. You know, like, I just feel like there's so many different areas that would work with Metroid that it just fits, and Nintendo is good at figuring things out like that. And I just think they just need to do it instead of, you know, saying we're Nintendo, we're going to do things our way. I think they need to evolve, and that's one franchise I feel like could evolve. So,
yeah, they've done more. They've really done unique things with multiplayer elements, not necessarily with great online technology, but with Triforce Heroes, Metroid Prime, Federation Force. They've done some unique things on their least powerful handhelds that are not exactly great connectivity or great with controls. I mean, gaming with a 3DS is okay in regards to the ergonomics. It's not fantastic. So take some of those lessons, give some of your more talented teams on 3DS, start taking the resources off of the 3DS and get them on to, you know, on some of these franchises. From what I've heard, Miyamoto actually is stepping away from the Switch, the development, because he says it's basically, this console doesn't require unique inputs or unique ideas. It just requires good games. So I'm excited to see
which is more exciting to me after he said that, because, like, you see the younger generation taking ideas from the newer things, and that's like, don't get me wrong, Miyamoto's like a legend, but he's old, and I think some of his ideas are old, and like that's what excites me about the Switch is a lot of these ideas seem new and refreshed, and like you look at Zelda, and that's refreshing, and you see Splatoon, which is built by a younger Nintendo team, and that was so refreshing to play. I like Splatoon a lot, and I wish there was more of a hook to keep me playing. That was like the one thing, which I think they'll fix with another iteration, and as the series evolves, they'll do more things with it. I just feel like that younger team has a lot of great ideas, and Nintendo's finally letting them take a chance to shine and move forward with their ideas. So
Disney didn't stop once Walt Disney died.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. That's a good comparison. I like it. They'll unfreeze them when they're ready.
They need to bring him back.
Well,
Make Song of the South 2.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Guys, it happened. It's history.
Oh my gosh.
I think Corey has tried on several occasions to shut me up like that and never succeeded. Congratulations, Todd.
Bring me back. I'll shut it down.
No, but we'll see. What do you think about I'll say rumors that Switch's specs are basically half an Xbox One.
That's
half?
Fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was close to an Xbox.
I mean,
here's what it is. Xbox has 8 gigs of RAM. And the Switch is rumored to have 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
But I think Xbox One only allows developers to have 5 or 6 gigs of RAM to use for games, because the other 2 gigs is for Kinect and their operating system. So I think that's how it was.
I think PS4 is the same way. Like devs only get 5 gigs to deal with. The rest is OS and media management,
which is why the Pro has that extra gig, to give developers more room to play around with stuff. So.
Oh, and you guys already know more about that stuff than I do, but my whole thing is when people start when people start talking about specs and Nintendo, I almost feel like they're doing it wrong. And that's because Nintendo has never been in the horsepower fight. They've never wanted that. I think maybe you could probably make the argument that with possibly the 64 and possibly the GameCube, they wanted to compete. But I think they also realized if you aim heavy enough at that, you lose something. And they chose to keep that something rather than have the horsepower fight. So,
which is why we love and hate Nintendo.
Yeah, which is exactly. It's just and I know with like Ed and you, Corey, and I think Todd to a degree, we're all Nintendo fans. But at the same time, Corey, you like your Destiny. Todd likes the Destiny. I like Bloodborne. I mean, I like stuff that is incapable to happen on Nintendo. And not just because of content, but just because of the sheer power needed to run it.
Which is fine, because
which is fine, yeah. But you also look every year that when people like Digital Foundry and Ars Technica, when they talk about games that run the best, I think overwhelmingly they're Nintendo games.
Yeah, and because Nintendo knows how to use their hardware. Nintendo's are the masters of making a game on such a little amount of power and such a little amount of graphical fidelity. Like you look at Mario Kart 8 is still easily one of the best looking games this generation.
Yeah.
And it runs at 720p at 60 frames a second on hardware that is so far below what PlayStation 4 offers, and it's still an amazing looking game. And the frame rate doesn't
fun as hell.
Yeah, and like the frame rate doesn't dip. The game is fun. Like it's all about, using assets smartly, all about using art direction smartly. It's all about using where you're placing assets and how you're designing a level and how you're designing the game. A part of the reason why Nintendo, I think, games run so well is that, their art direction is smart. They don't try to make, like, you look at Wind Waker or something, like their art direction doesn't require a lot of detail. It doesn't require a lot of like intricate polygonal models. It does, and like the assets, even though they're pretty, they use a lot of the same assets throughout games, but they use them smartly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and those games don't feel empty either.
Well, the one game I would say that Nintendo didn't develop it. It was I'm trying to remember the developer that does Xenoblade Chronicles X. Okay.
Monolith.
So that is their most, I would say, impressive game in regards to a huge world, steady frame rate, more realistic looking models and things like that.
Even that game is small compared to a lot of open world games. Like that game is, I think that game is 17. I think the game itself is 9 gigs, but they have 8 gigs of asset patches and stuff that are optional that you can download to make the game run better and run faster, which still only brings it to 17, which is a lot smaller than a lot of other open world games.
Yeah, and they said the world, actually, the size of the world was like ridiculous, like 5 times the size of GTA 5 or something like that. I'm like, that's crazy. But they don't use realistic textures. They don't try to make everyone look, like Grand Theft Auto or something, which makes sense. And that's, Nintendo has never said we want to make realistic looking games. I think maybe Eternal Darkness is the most, realistic game they've ever made, which, by the way, let's just get an HD remaster of that out.
Please.
Well, the rumor is Switch is going to launch with GameCube Virtual Console.
Do you want just old 480p, 480i games though? I would rather have remasters or new versions.
I would rather have HD remasters of a lot of GameCube games. Luigi's Mansion is still one of my favorite GameCube games, and I would love to see that in HD. But if they're going to offer us Virtual Console and not remaster games, I mean, I'll take that instead of, and it's going to look great on that little screen. Like I don't think I'm going to be playing a lot of Switch on my TV, to be honest. I'm going to be playing on the couch while me and my wife are watching TV.
It does what Wii U don't, meaning you can go 20 feet from your TV and still play it.
I know. I am so mad because like the way our office / game room is set up, like my TV is on this far wall over here and my Wii U is hooked up to it, and our bed is right on the other side of the wall, and I cannot play my Wii U gamepad from bed, even though the Wii U is literally like 6 feet from it, because there's a wall in between us. All I want to do is take a poop and play Mario Kart. Is that
right? Is that so much to ask?
Did game designers ever think that they had to worry about the sanitary nature of their Did they have to be like, is the Switch going to be like antibacterial?
Game developers didn't think about that until the iPhone came out. And then people were like, hey, I'm doing Twitter on the
the spectacles coming in the air when you flush. Close your toilet before you flush.
Boy.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue that with you because I agree. You shut it before you flush it. But yeah. What are we talking about?
We were talking about, we were talking.
I think our conversation has motivated Corey because he has left us.
Yes, he's taken his Mario run to the bathroom. But
he's got the Mario runs.
Since we do have a gap, I don't know, Matt. Is it time for your question, or do you want to talk about a franchise that's been, a franchise that's long dead, bringing it to the modern times? I mean, I
don't really have any, like, with Nintendo.
Well, how about a game that was on the NES? Because there were so many non-Nintendo games that were on the NES that were classics, like Life Force. Think about even Life Force.
Oh, Life Force. But see, here's the thing. Like, Life Force at this point, doing a game like Life Force in this day and age is a difficult.
I totally get it.
But like, I think you look at a game like Resogun, and it kind of scratches that itch, except it's not as weird as Life Force was. I'd like to see a proper Kid Icarus.
You know what? Know how you do that? You basically remaster Uprising.
But I didn't play Uprising.
Well, you couldn't because the controls were absolutely horrible. You had to have crab hands to do it.
Well, but I never had a 3DS.
And it was horrible because you had to use basically your stylus to aim and hold the thing, and that's why I'm saying it was horrible. It's ideally done on a Switch console because you've got proper analog controls.
Okay.
So it'd be fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, now how? Did you play a lot of it?
I played a little bit. I just couldn't really get into it because of the controls. But Mike Drucker, do you know him?
Yeah, I know who Mike Drucker is.
He actually wrote Kid Icarus.
Okay.
And it's hilarious. The dialogue is fantastic. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
He helped on the localization of it and made it more American, so it wasn't like this weird humor. And there's so much dialogue happening, and it's very clever and fun. But that game had it was in the wrong place. The 3DS was the worst way to play that game because, and the problem is, I don't know if we'll get another Kid Icarus. So that's probably the easiest way to bring it to the modern age.
I don't know. I think we might though with Switch. I feel like with all Nintendo's hands on deck for, Switch, all their development studios on Switch, we might get those handheld games. Like the one franchise I'm looking forward to the most on Switch is Fire Emblem. I really want another full-fledged Fire Emblem, and I want to play it on my TV.
Yeah.
Do you guys think
that Wii U one I still need to play, but
what Wii U game?
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Oh, isn't that a Fire Emblem game?
No, well,
it's more Persona Shin Megami Tensei, and instead of like Personas or like the Devil Summons, they're Fire Emblem characters.
So it's better.
It's a JRPG.
Yeah, with J-pop. If you like music, if you like idols and J-pop,
it's better.
It's your game. Yeah.
Well, did you guys both play Golden at all?
I've got it on my Vita. I haven't touched it.
I played about 10 hours of it.
Like
it's basically it's almost the same thing without
Persona 4 Golden is probably the best example of games with J-pop in them. Mm-hmm. And Shoji Meguro from Atlas, the guy who does all the music, is a phenomenal composer, phenomenal songwriter, and the music in those games is one of the few soundtracks that is listenable on an iPod or when you're doing something that's not game related.
Well, the premise of that game, Matt, is that apparently there's evil forces stealing pop icons in Japan, and they can take their musical essence.
Well, yeah, but that's just okay. It's all right.
I know that. You sold me, right?
I mean, yeah, I expected that.
If you give me $40, I'll give it to you for free.
For free, you say?
See, I gotcha. No, here's a question though. On the Switch, we talked about this. Nintendo's piling all the resources. Does every game have to look HD, beautiful, whatever, or could it look like a really pretty 3DS game? Because a lot of those devs on 3DS, I don't know if they know how to make an HD game yet, but could they go like a step above that's like handheld quality but prettier?
Feel like
Two words. Shovel Knight.
Sure.
I feel like one of the launch titles, or not launch titles, but launch window titles is supposed to be the third Pokemon Sun and Moon game, Pokemon Stars. So I guess we'll find out if a developer knows how to do that.
Oh, great. We're going to get 3 Pokemon games every time one comes out.
Probably.
Maybe not if the 3DS is dead by now. Or in 4 years, 3 years when the next one comes out, right?
Yeah.
Well, with the Switch, does Nintendo need to do another handheld?
No. No, because now they have mobile. Now they're making Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, and Mario for mobile. Like mobile's their new handheld, and then you can just take your Switch with you.
I still think they need a cheap version of Switch, maybe a non-dockable version or something that is cheaper.
Oh yeah, I feel
down, because kids are horrible and they will destroy these things. And
well, the thing is that dock doesn't really provide anything extra. It's the port to your TV, which it's probably really cheap to manufacture. So like, that knock like $20 off the price, $30.
And they could make it smaller. They could make a smaller version, smaller screen or whatever, and that's the portable version of Switch.
Well, the mini Switch.
I still think the 3DS is going to exist. I bet it's going to get a price drop. I bet the regular size 3DS is going to be $100. The 2DS is going to be $60, $70.
Yep.
And it'll run alongside Switch until they decide to do something different.
And that library is so big that they honestly don't have to actually make any new games for that system for it to still be successful and still exist.
Yeah. And I like my 3DS. I don't play it very often, but I do like my 3DS. I play it for Fire Emblem. I like Animal Crossing. I like Shovel Knight. I played Shovel Knight there first. It's just, I prefer console gaming. But that's why I like the Wii U so much. Like the concept of the Wii U when they announced it is like, I can play this game on my TV, and then when we're watching TV, I can play it like a handheld device. But then I couldn't reach where I wanted to play it, which totally nullified any reason to play it on the screen.
Hashtag Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
Man. Well.
That was a topic.
I know. That actually segues great into my topic.
Okay.
Speaking of Nintendo, we all love Nintendo franchises for the most part, right? Most of them.
Yes.
I want to argue the fact that Sony, now granted, a lot of these games aren't out yet, but are they building a first-party lineup that can take on Nintendo's quality in first party? Like, this is sort of like let's look at what Sony's done the last 2 generations and look at what's coming / prediction and compare it to Nintendo. Like, Nintendo has Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox. They have Fire Emblem.
Kirby.
Anybody really like Kirby games?
My son loves Kirby games.
Anyone older than 10 like Kirby games?
Watch, Todd's like, my son's 11. I know he's only 10.
He is 11 now. Yeah. And he's actually graduated to Destiny now, Corey. He's like 363 Hunter now. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But I like the one Kirby game, which was it? What was it? Where he had the yarn?
Epic Yarn?
That was an adorable game. It wasn't hard, but it was still fun.
No, it was like the Kirby games were never hard anyway, and they took a game that was never hard and gave it an easier mode and said play that way. So, and then what else? I interrupted because that's what I do.
Other franchises, Duck Hunt.
I want to argue that Sony is building a portfolio of quality first-party titles and studios that could rival Nintendo in a different way.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
Not that they're like competing with Nintendo directly. I don't want to say that because Nintendo is so different from anything that Sony's doing.
I'm not even gonna go that route because it's very clear that Sony's first party will do other things, whereas I'm pretty sure Nintendo, they probably force their first party into doing Mario games. I mean, look at Retro. Everyone's waiting for Retro to do another Metroid game, but guess what? You're probably going to get another Donkey Kong game before you'll get another Metroid game.
Oh my gosh.
Can I just puke?
If Retro's working on another Donkey Kong game, I'm going to be... Not that those games are bad. I actually like those games, but
those games are good. But
I want a freaking Metroid game.
But those games are like the most infuriating games in the world. They give you 2 hearts, basically. Call it 2 hearts. What other game starts you with 2 health meters? Everything starts with 3. That game is just purely tormenting you. It's the Dark Souls of Nintendo games.
I was waiting for it. Thank you, Todd.
You got it.
But God, I missed you.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Oh,
got it now.
Corey,
my face is gonna get as red.
I'll keep it for later.
Don't make your
I'll
wife
take that
jealous.
with cheese. But oh man, you got me all distracted.
Hot and bothered.
I do declare.
You got the vapors?
Todd just gave me the vapors. What were we talking about?
Nintendo and Sony first party. They're
Okay. Oh no. Okay. I know. I'm good now. I don't think Sony is trying to build a first party of flagship franchises, because if you look at Nintendo's franchise, very few of them are actual characters. And that's because, look, you don't really know a lot about Mario other than what's happened in the games. You don't know anything about Link because Miyamoto designed Link as the link between the player and the screen. Samus, you know that she's a woman and there are lots of story ideas everywhere. Whereas Sony's first party, like, it's more about character interaction. Like, look at Ratchet and Clank. Like, if there's nothing to like about those characters, or there's nothing to really sort of empathize with or relate to, that series doesn't last more than a game. Same with Jak and Daxter. Same with Spyro. Why there's this unabating love for Crash, I'll never really get.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
not owned by Sony. Spyro's
True.
not owned by Sony either.
True, but I'm just saying, you know, these are the things that are associated with. But like, you want to talk about Uncharted? I'm sorry, Nathan Drake's an asshole.
But he's adorable.
He's not adorable.
He's Han Solo.
I don't find anything about that idiot that I even want to get bromantic with.
Really? He's Han Solo.
Yeah.
He's Indiana Jones. He's that mold.
You shut your mouth, Todd.
No, it's absolutely
He is not
true.
Indiana Jones, because Indiana Jones is smart and cool and he kills Nazis.
Well, he would kill Nazis if they were around. He just didn't have the opportunity.
He kills
Give him a
pirates.
I
time
don't
machine.
care.
Go and kill him.
I don't care. Nathan Drake is a dickhole as far as I'm concerned.
He is more like us than we'd like to.
Say that. If you say that one more time, Ray Osorio might magically appear in this podcast.
Bring him.
The Rage is
I'll tell him too. I've told him to his face that Nathan Drake is an asshole, because I was there at Extra Life and I said, "Yeah, Nathan Drake's an asshole," and he just goes, "Yeah, I know." He's serial murder.
But Indiana Jones has killed a lot of people too. Come on, let's be honest. Killed a lot of people.
No, he brought a whip to a gunfight.
Yeah, and won.
Oh my god!
What?
With a gun.
I'm just saying that's that sweet scene in Raiders where that guy is doing all these sweet sword tricks and he just whips out his gun and shoots him.
I mean, sometimes you got to do. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you got to do what you know when you're done. Just like, okay, I have to just end this now. But I don't think the best of Sony's first party roster is capable, because they've created characters, whereas Nintendo's first party ensemble is more about mechanics and gameplay than it is story.
But Nintendo started in an era when you didn't need to have deep story. You didn't need.
I understand that.
You didn't need more compelling experiences, because, quite honestly, the games that came before were Space Invaders. It was very limited, so they had the ability to really create genres to a certain extent, maybe except for like RPGs, which was, Ultima and those games were doing that. But and then you think about it, what Sony brought to the video game element was credibility for an older audience. It basically said there are going to be more mature themes, more mature things you see on screen. And what I would say is Sony doesn't kill franchises or continue to push franchises where they don't need to be. Sometimes they do some crazy things like, what was it? Sony All-Star Heroes Battle thing.
They're Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, sometimes they do dumb things like that and then make a
But see, that game wasn't bad. I will not say
it wasn't.
That game was actually really good.
But that wasn't them really being truthful to themselves. That was them trying to create a new thing. But quite honestly, Sony allows its teams to do different things. And every time Sony's had a new generation, guess what? They create new IP, new ideas to push things forward. Mm-hmm. Where I think Nintendo sometimes limits them because guess what? There's certain things Mario will never be able to do. Link will never be able to do. Samus will never be able to do. And guess what they do? And they finally, I think, embraced that fact with Splatoon and said, you know what, this isn't the right fit for Mario. We're going to do something new with new IP, and they succeeded. They actually created a new set of female characters that were speaking to a female audience. But Nintendo has largely ignored their female audience. They covered up Samus with a mask, so people say, oh, she's a female, but guess what? Nobody knew she was. It wasn't like little girls would be compelled to play that character. But I think that's where Sony
until Justin Bailey found it.
Exactly. But I think Sony's really excelled at creating new franchises, new experiences every generation, where Nintendo, I think, is just, and where I think I'm probably the exception of the rule, but I am kind of Nintendo franchised out. Another new Smash Brothers, guess what? It's not going to do that much difference.
I agree with you there.
Another Mario Kart, it's not going to do that much different. It's like a Madden. It's really just doing the same thing over and over again. So when people say that's the press in general, I'm like, that doesn't bring in new fans. That just attracts the same old. Because guess what? If Smash Brothers and Mario Kart were enough to bring in 100 million people, guess what? It wasn't. Because guess how many people came to the Wii U? Because guess what? Those series are only for the hardcore. More people will buy them, but you have to bring them to the field with new franchises and new experiences. A new 2D Mario, guess what? It's the same old, same old. I know it's popular, but guess what? Mario Run's doing the same thing. They need to refresh their brands with new experiences. Disney, I was comparing Nintendo to Disney.
Well,
Disney didn't stop with Mickey. They didn't stop with Mickey. Mickey is basically a spokesperson, and Mario could be that one, bringing in new experiences and new franchises and new capabilities. But I think they just think that they've said this, their franchises are what drives the people in. But guess what? That only lasts so long because a lot of people say, I've been there, done that. I got that with the Wii. I'm not coming back. I want new experiences. And Nintendo, I think, needs to embrace that, which would be great.
Which looking at, like, I feel like Nintendo is kind of like getting that idea, like I said before, because like you look at Zelda, it's clearly different. The Zelda looks clearly different. Now, we haven't seen any dungeons or anything, and the dungeons could be the same thing, but like this open world approach, like it's clearly different than what they've done with every 3D Zelda game since Ocarina of Time. Not that I don't enjoy that, but like,
but at the same time, we see, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but at the same time, we see a crap ton of differences.
Yeah.
But at the same, we don't know how much sameness is there yet.
Right.
I mean, because it could be all this other stuff, and that's really cool, but at the same time, if you're just pigeonholed through everything the way you are in a Zelda game, it's going to be so much the same.
Yeah, and bringing in voice was a big step for them, which I think adds immersion. And now that you're in the HD era, you don't have technology holding you back. And I know Miyamoto, and I think, Matt, you spoke about this, and Corey, I think you touched on this too. Without having Miyamoto there, it takes away a lot of that fear. I think that's not something that Miyamoto is comfortable with. He's never dealt with it. He's never had to. He doesn't play other games. He doesn't go out and experience what other people do that are into gaming. Adding voice adds emotion. We don't have black and white silent pictures anymore because we realized we could add much more to it. And you don't have to have Link speak. And I always said, oh, what if Link speaks? Nobody hears. Like, guess what? Games like Skyrim does a great job of having a silent protagonist, but the world around him is alive. Yeah. And having people speak adds so much to it. And guess what? If Ganon speaks, is he going to ruin the character?
No, he's going to give him a personality. Like, instead of like these evil grunts and laughs that they recycle every game. Like, give them a voice, give them that monologue that villains are known for, give them that, you know, fear, give us something to fear. Like, I know, like, the story in Skyward Sword was, I wanted to follow that story so bad because it seemed so intriguing, but like the game, other than like the characters' emotions, like facial expressions and stuff, the game lacked emotion. And like when you get to the final boss, like that character is not scary because there's no dialogue to be afraid of. It's just this still image of his emotionless face, not like giving you any facial expression. And like you just fight him. Like there's nothing to fear. If you give Ganon like a personality, a voice, a monologue when you're getting ready to fight him, some kind of threatening identity, other than, oh, he's a thief from the Sandlands or whatever, like that's gonna give that game it's gonna make that so much more compelling than the previous games.
I mean, when I remember watching Skyward Sword and seeing some that they said, oh, it's so compelling. I saw the dialogue moments where the character is just sitting there flapping their gums, nom, 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 and there's dialogue. And I'm sorry, you cannot get emotion from somebody just doing a repetitive motion that shows I didn't put any context into what they're expressing and things like that. I know Nintendo fans are so passionate, but guess what? They are so stubborn to experiencing new experiences until Nintendo forces it upon them. I'd say more Nintendo fans don't experience other consoles more so than others.
You're probably right.
And because of that, they only think Nintendo experiences are worthwhile and are riveting. They'll compare like a Witcher 3. Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God. But I'm like, no, it's immersive. You make your own choices. Skyrim, you make your own choices and choose your own path. You don't always have the same experience everybody else did. And I don't think Zelda will bring that to you. There'll be stories about, oh, there were moblins over there and I threw something else, something happened. But it's not like you're going to have emergent, I want to say side missions that were like, I never did that side mission. Oh my God, that was so cool. I mean, Witcher has those elements. So I don't know if we're going to get that type of game.
I don't think we're going to get that from Zelda because I think Nintendo wants people to experience the whole game. I don't think they're going to go out of their way to just using a Telltale game as an example, like somebody chooses one thing and then somebody chooses another thing and then each person, they don't experience like probably a third of the game because of the choices they make. I don't think Nintendo is going to go that far to say, oh, we don't want our audience to not experience this whole game. But I do think that they're going to give these NPCs a real voice, like important players a real voice. I feel like you go to somebody in a town who's going to give you side quests or something, they're going to have a voice. They're going to say, they're going to give you their story. They're going to give you these quest points. They're going to give this town some life. And that's what I think I think that's what Nintendo's going to aim for. I don't think we're ever going to have that Witcher experience though, where you do this quest for somebody and the way you finish the quest determines on what happens the rest of the game. Like if you kill a character instead of keeping them alive, you don't get those quests if you kill that character. Whereas if you keep them alive, you're going to get those quests. I don't think Nintendo's ever going to do that. That's just not Nintendo. That's just not them.
Yeah, your experiences are really more on your interactions with the world more so than separate storylines and different, pieces of dialogue and things like that, which I totally get. I just hate to have it's a giant world with not much to do, except for the same experiences of killing the same type of enemies, which
or doing the temples in this order because this is the order you get the weapons. Or
yeah, I mean, A Link Between Worlds kind of played with that premise because you had the rental of equipment. You could do things. The original Zelda, you could kind of do that if you wanted to, but you still were kind of limited because there were certain things that were tied to certain weapons. But you're right.
Yeah.
But I think, Corey, I mean, you make it a valid point with Sony being so experimental, and I think Sony gives their developers so much leeway that that's maybe a problem with it. We're building brands and things like that because, think about Killzone, a brand that kind of, did really well with the launch of the PS4. They could still continue to make Killzone games, but they said, that dev wanted to do something different, so they're making
Horizon,
which looks fantastic,
which looks more compelling than any Killzone game ever had.
Exactly. So I hope Sony is at least acknowledged for, this generation's been horrible, at least for their frequency of great games, because quite honestly, their output has been really bad this generation, and I'm not sure what slowed it.
Well, are you talking about? You're talking about just the first party stuff, right?
The frequency of first party, because it's really been delayed. I mean, I'm thinking of what games came out on PS3, and this gen, it seems like, we're so lagged behind. We've missed so many great fall experiences because they've been pushed out, and it's kind of sad that I'm hoping that there's just going to be an onslaught of fantastic, games, because we know those developers are world class.
Yeah,
I'm like really excited for PlayStation's first party stuff, like on.
But hey, Last Guardian finally came out, huh?
Yeah, I actually, I'm gonna get it after Christmas. I think that game looks interesting. Like I love Shadow of the Colossus. I didn't like Eco as much, but I love Shadow of the Colossus, and like the Last Guardian, like it's the Final Fantasy 15 thing to me, where I just want to play it to see how this game turned out. And like I bought Final Fantasy 15 thanks to GameStop. That's the only time you're ever going to hear me say that on this podcast. Did I tell that story on this podcast?
No, I don't. Well, wait, was this one of your supermarket sweet GameStop experiences?
The games go out in 20 minutes. Put them in your basket.
I'm gonna tell you the story. I don't know. I don't remember if I've told it on this show or not. So just whatever. I don't care if I did or not. GameStop sent me an envelope in the mail with the gift card.
This is going to be great.
They have a white powder in it.
Yeah.
They had a gift card in an envelope and said, "Thank you for being a loyal customer.
What?
Your next game is on us."
What?
And I called the gift card number, and it was a $65 gift card.
What?
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to GameStop to buy Final Fantasy 15, because if there's a game I want to try that I'm not willing to shell out $60 for, it's going to be Final Fantasy 15.
I'll sell you a free game for $65, Corey.
Now,
because we got it for cheap.
Now, after playing Final Fantasy 15, I would have spent $60 on this game. I actually really like it a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't that your game of the year.
What the hell? How do you get free
not.
money from GameStop? Oh my god!
I don't know, but I go into the GameStop, and this isn't the one that I that's close to my house. This is the one that's on my way home from work. I went in, and I was like, I would like to purchase Final Fantasy 15, please. And they're like, "Oh, we're out of the PlayStation 4 copy." I'm like, okay. So I went and picked up some PlayStation Network gift cards, and I was like, I would like to purchase these $70 worth of PlayStation gift cards, please. And they told me I wasn't allowed to use my gift card on PlayStation.
A gift card for a gift card?
Yeah. I was like, I know you can use a gift card on these. I've used them before on these. So I would like to purchase these. And at this point, people are like coming in and like looking around, and there's a lot of people in the store at this point. And the guy's like, "I'm sorry, I can't do that." And I was like, "Okay, well, can I purchase the digital copy directly from you?" And they're like, "Yeah, but you can't use a gift card on digital copies."
What?
I'm like, so you're telling me I can't use a GameStop gift card on something inside GameStop? And at this point, this kid was getting mad at me for like getting mad at him for not being able to buy anything. And at this point, like there's a line behind me of like 10 or 12 people like waiting in line to buy stuff because it was their buy two get one weekend or something. And
best time to go into GameStop. Oh man,
I know. So at this point, his manager walks over to him and is like trying to ask him what the problem was. And I was like, well, I've been trying to buy this game for like a couple minutes, and I apparently can't use the gift card inside the store. And I was like, so if you're telling me I can't buy the digital copy from your website with this gift card, and I went on GameStop.com right in front of the employees and bought the digital copy of Final Fantasy 15 with the gift card right in front of them.
And then you like held the card and just mic dropped it, right?
You threw it at their face.
I was like, this is why GameStop game sales have dropped 20% in the last 2 years. And I walked out, and the manager started yelling at the employee instead of ringing out the line.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, come on, dude.
Redonkulous. The customer's always right. Even when he's sorry.
I'm just like,
I mean, if it was Matt, I would understand the hostility. But not you, Corey. You've got a lovely face. You're compelling.
I wasn't mad at first. I was like, okay, you're out of the game.
You look like Fred Durst.
Yeah, come on. Matt would have spit on him 18 times by the time this conversation was over.
Well, the sad thing is, in that situation, I buckled like a belt. I'm like, okay, I'll just leave then.
Buying 18 Funko Pops, please.
Fuck you, Todd.
But what were
I'll be like, I'll just go buy vinyl instead.
That's right. Do you have any? You have any vinyl? GameStop?
No, they don't have any vinyl.
They'll start carrying it. You know they will. With all those soundtracks that are coming out.
Well, here's the thing: if they were to get the IM 8-bit editions of soundtracks, I would be in, because those are beautiful looking the way they.
That would start working at GameStop part-time, just to get those.
I like your
That
thought
face.
process, Oxtra. But I don't need a third job. I already have 2. I'm good.
Treat yourself.
God damn it.
You're welcome.
God, I miss you so much, Todd.
I'm hugging the monitor right now, boys.
Oh,
Bring it in.
yeah, everybody. Come on,
No,
Corey.
boy.
Just stroke your just stroke your microphone, Corey. There you go.
I'm gonna play with my pop filter right now.
Oh, boy. What were we talking about before that?
You're exactly. Todd shows affection, and we just get all verklempt.
Oh,
I know.
Is this a segue?
I don't know. I feel like I was about to say something, and then
GameStop, Final Fantasy 15,
Final Fantasy 15, yeah.
Card drop.
I don't remember.
Burn in Hell GameStop. I don't know.
I don't remember.
By the way, this podcast is brought to you by GameStop.
No, I would quit, because then I would have to start liking GameStop.
Yeah,
Because they would give me money.
How the hell did you get that gift card?
Like I'm kind of jealous, because every time I go to GameStop and give them my Power Up Rewards card, they like look at me and they're like, "How do you have like 200,000 points?"
You know, I
like,
just cashed in points at GameStop tonight.
I see, and I'm like, you know how I have 200,000 points? Because you don't have anything interesting for me to use them on.
Well, you know what? 5,000 points get you $5 in credits. So get, a million billion and get GameStop gift cards, and then in their face, download games in front of their face. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
See, I need to get someone with a camera so I could just stream that. That'd be great.
Yes.
That'd be pretty awesome. Be like, hey, look at me. I'm going to piss off these GameStop employees.
Corey Durick said, hello.
Peace.
NGR says, deuces.
Oh, man. So, Sony, Nintendo.
Nintendo's first party, and actually, you know what? Here, I got a little. I think. Go on. Go ahead. Before I do this.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Sony is doing with their first party what we want Nintendo to do with their first party, and allow them to have the freedom to do what they want within the franchises that they own, and doing them correctly, and like making them what the gamers want instead of what the company wants.
That's a good point.
I feel like Nintendo always tries to, like, don't get me wrong, their games are great always, and the mechanics of their games are great all the time, but sometimes I feel like Nintendo is holding back the games because it's something that Nintendo wants to do, or what Miyamoto or Aonuma want the game to be, instead of what do gamers do today, and how do we incorporate that into our strategy, into our development, into our marketing, into our new online infrastructure. How do we do that? How do we get, the gamers, like, what do the gamers want, and how do we apply that to our development?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And like Todd made a fantastic point with like silent movies and stuff. And on Platinum Achievements, I've always said Nintendo is like Disney as well. But I also think Miyamoto and Aonuma are they're like D.W. Griffith and probably F.W. Murnau to a point where they were like legendary silent film directors and sort of created a lot of the language that film has, that still retains to this day almost inherently without even knowing where it came from. But as far as I know, F.W. Murnau died before talking came to movies, and D.W. Griffith never made a talking picture as far as I know. And because of that, Miyamoto and Aonuma have sort of really been stuck in their ways. And it's really like Nintendo is going through, God, I'm going to make a lot of movie references here, so just bear with me. Nintendo is going through like a Singing in the Rain transition. Have either of you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Like for a long time I avoided seeing that movie because I didn't want to watch a dumb musical. But then I saw it, and I'm like, wow, that story is actually really interesting because of when it takes place. It is when people are saying, "Oh, talking in movies, that's a fad. Who wants to do that, right?" It was the people that were it was the old guard and the new school really colliding. And Nintendo, like Corey just said, is really fighting that fight in a super smothery sort of way and I think honestly it's because of the Wii. Because the Wii sold so much and they have all this money in the bank, they could just say, well, we don't need you to do this. If you want to do this, no. Like, that's why we don't have a real talking Mario or a talking Link, and why we don't have Samus, because Samus doesn't sell. And in Splatoon, I'm at a loss as to whether or not that had a lot of dialogue. I don't think it did.
No, they talked in like Squiddish, I guess is the best way you could put it. They kind of
so they did the Team Eco thing where they just do a fake language.
Came up with a fake language, kind of like Conquer, things like that. But quite honestly, Nintendo's at a point where I think the Switch should be like the NES, where these are the new franchises that will carry forth Nintendo for the next 30 years. Because quite honestly, it's fine to keep, bringing out another Zelda, but, there's only so much you can do with that character in that universe. I mean, they're growing to get more, Western and giving him more abilities and more capabilities, but, that story's been told again and again and again. There's no real surprises. Sorry.
Yeah.
Guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But that's probably where they're at. But nobody remembers a lot of great silent pictures. They just don't. The Jazz Singer,
the Talking
Nation, things like that. But you think of like the Wizard of Oz, where color was just dropped in our laps. This is color. You think of like another revolution would probably be The Matrix, where this is what unique visuals can bring to storytelling, things like that. It's a little different, I know. It's more of some of the technology that came in.
Yeah, well, I just hate the Matrix.
Well, yeah, I know, but you have to admit that some of the technology they brought forward was just.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong. And like that Wizard of Oz moment is a.
Or Star Wars, trying to be able to tell a different type of story in a different fashion that was actually finally taken seriously. So I think there's opportunities for Nintendo to step forward to say, we're not just going to keep making the same Mario games for the next 30 years, because people are going to say, I've been there, done that. And I think there's some new things they can do. And they have talented people. With Miyamoto, he's not going to be around forever. To think that all of these creators will have to say, I have to make just in Mario games? But I can create new characters and new experiences that could open the world to little girls or bring in adults, brain training. Think about that series,
exactly.
Ten Dogs. what's a series? Wii Sports. How did they mismanage Wii Sports for the Wii U? Come on.
They just kind of released an HD version of it and then called it quits. They didn't even market it.
That's their biggest selling game of all time. I know it came with all the Wiis, but still, that game spoke to people.
Yeah.
And just to kind of mismanage that and then make Wii music? Come on.
I mean, and I think the scariest part of that for Nintendo is if you were to just hard reboot your entire business. And I don't think Nintendo is A, thinking about that, B, ready to try it, and C, do they have the output to do that?
Well, I hope they do now with the 3DS development staff. I hope.
And that is, and in terms of like the business bottom line, that's one of the scariest things. Like imagine you are just a fly on the wall at this Nintendo meeting where they come in and say, "Hey Mario team, hey Retro, hey Metroid, hey Zelda, hey nameless other first party, tentpole franchises. You're not making those games anymore. Come up with something new." Like that is the scariest thing in the world, because either the opposite of what Todd said is true. Maybe they're not being forced to make those games. Maybe that's the games they want to make. Or they are a bird, coming out of the nest for the first time, and they're like, well, where do I go?
I think better Nintendo is going to come from having faith in the people, that all of the knowledge that Miyamoto has, relayed onto these development teams.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's not even really where I'm going with this. But just like think about it from just an abstract outside position. Just all of a sudden you've been in this box for so long,
mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden the door opens and they just say go. I mean, that is in a very allegorical fashion. That is the walking outside the vault in Fallout. That is getting out of the cell in Skyrim. That is, getting out of the tutorial in Assassin's Creed where you've been there for 15 hours. That is the moment where you're just like, wow, this is kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, there's a term in my job where I'm an analyst, and I say it's paralysis by analysis. You just get stuck because you're like, I could do so much, or I could pull data here, and I mean, what do you want? And it's just too much. But quite honestly, if Nintendo is going to flourish, it's going to have to be on the backs of Mario, Zelda, Samus, those franchises, and they're going to have to change and develop. And we want Nintendo 2.0. Just like we got Disney 2.0 with, Pixar and Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. People think of more of Disney, those franchises, than they do with Mickey now.
Yeah. Well, it's because Mickey's never... to my knowledge, Mickey's never had a full-fledged movie.
No, he hasn't. Yeah,
he's never really has.
He's been in more serials and in little bits. It was the Cinderella Snow White that was more of the basic.
Yes,
right?
And then he had that moment in Fantasia that everybody remembers.
Yes.
But he's never really had, this is the Mickey movie. I mean, you could say Mickey and the Beanstalk, but that was like a 45-minute made for TV thing. And that was probably one of the only times you ever really heard him talk.
Yeah.
Apart from the shorts.
Oh boy.
But I will say this: the best Mickey was the Mickey in South Park.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh,
watching him beat the piss out of one of the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, their promise rings.
Who do you work for? DreamWorks. Goddamn Eisner.
Defrost.
Goddamn Eisner trying to hurt this company again. Huh.
That's how Trump's going to make America great again. He's going to defrost Walt Disney. So it's Christmas. right?
Oh,
Matt, bring it. Make it Christmassy, Matt.
Oh. I need a moment after that comment. No, my topic this week is the most anti-NGR topic in the world, because we usually talk about video games, but I'm self-confessed, I don't know a lot about video games, but I actually really like music, if you didn't know, vinyl specifically, if you didn't know. And I was actually, what spurned my topic happened a couple weeks ago. I in October, I started a new job. And, once Thanksgiving happened, all the radio stations in Philly start playing a crap ton of Christmas music, a crap ton of bad Christmas music, I'll add. And I got into this argument with a coworker, actually the other X-ray tech that works where I work. The person, we came up with a system where the person at checkout gets to control the music. And since I'm at checkout 3 days a week and she's only there 2, she said, okay, but it's the Christmas season. I want to hear some Christmas music. I go, okay, if I make you a Christmas playlist and just play that, will that be a good compromise? And she's like, why would you want to do that? I go, you don't know the kind of music nerd you're dealing with. So I actually decided I was going to make my favorite Christmas songs. And I want to share them with you two. I know this episode is going to go up the day after Christmas. And like in Matt fashion, better late than never. But I came up with 20 Christmas songs. Actually, if you really want to do it, it's like 33 because my number 1 is a 13-way tie because it's everything on an album. I'll explain that later. I break my own rules. But no, number 20. And if you haven't heard these or you want me to talk about the tracks, just let me know. Fairy Tale in New York by the Pogues.
what?
Believe I have.
Huh?
I believe I have.
Okay, well this is it's kind of a Christmas song in the way people call Die Hard a Christmas movie, which for your information, kind of not. But
It's the best Christmas movie.
Shut up, Corey. I'm not going to have this argument with you today. It is actually kind of it's very operatic in its scope, and it's kind of what goes into it is probably what goes into most people's heads around the holiday season, where they start thinking about how there was a time where they dreamt of better times, and then they're now where it's not better times, but they're working with what they've got. And Fairy Tale in New York is a very beautiful song sung by Shane MacGowan, frontman for the Pogues, and Christy McCall, who has left us. She's passed away. I don't remember when, but it's a beautiful song, and I really think it sounds really good at Christmas, and with the Irish overtones in the Pogues music, it makes it really beautiful. Number 19 is I'm gonna get to the fun stuff right away. Oi to the World by the Vandals. Most people know the No Doubt version. Then I'm going to say it right now. That version sucks. And the Vandals, it's an oi skinheady punk thing, and it's really fun. It's really, oi to the punks, oi to the skins, oi to the world, and everybody wins. All you need. Number 18, Godfather of Soul himself, James Brown. Santa Claus, Go Straight to the Ghetto. I don't need to say anymore. If you haven't heard that, you need to hear it. Number 17 came out in 1984, spearheaded by punk semi-legend Bob Geldof. This is Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Excellent pick.
And if you remember Band-Aid, they eventually were probably usurped as sort of the charity single of all time by We Are the World, because Michael Jackson wrote that. But I think this is a better song than We Are the World. Yeah, I said it. And it's actually it's still pretty 22 years or 32 years later now, right?
Yeah. It was a fantastic song.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. Yep.
And then this next one is kind of weird. It's by Loretta Lynn, country music legend. To Heck with Old Santa Claus. And this is about somebody who didn't get what she wanted for Christmas and wants to take some revenge out on Santa Claus for it. And we've all been there. Have we not?
I would say yes. I have. There were certain things I never got as a kid, and
you're still kind of ticked about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. Yeah. I think we all. Biggest miss as a child. I
didn't get my electric Bigfoot when I was 7. I'm still kind of. Anyway.
Never got my Millennium Falcon.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I to the point where like I've thought about buying the big Lego ones and just putting it together with super glue and hanging it up in my apartment.
Oh my gosh!
Oh really, Captain Amiibo? Really,
Captain Amiibo?
I only have like 10.
I see him I see him right behind your right shoulder. What is that?
You mean my Assassin's Creed figures and other things that
really Amiibo? You have Assassin's Creed and you're gonna knock me for wanting a Lego Millennium Falcon? Piss off, Deerig.
I wasn't knocking you.
You said, oh Jesus.
This is my Amiibo over here.
There's my Amiibo. You can't really see him, but then there's my
TIE Fighter. That's nice. That's nice.
My Amiibo Infinities are on my wall over there.
Okay. Yeah, see, and you're knocking, you have all that, you're knocking me. No,
I wasn't knocking you.
Felt like it.
I just feel like it would be hilarious if you hung the Millennium Falcon above your head while we were doing a podcast and it fell on your head.
I wish I had a camera that had a better aspect ratio. I totally would. Maybe if I got a long enough, cable and just hung it like right here in front of the beer.
Yeah.
I think I have a project. Number 15. This is probably a weird one. It's called Jesus Christ. It's by a band from the 70s called Big Star. It's off their third album, which was never really released until like the CD era. And it's sort of it's like one of their members went super hard born again Christian right after he left, and they wrote this song for him. They weren't trying to really lean into any sarcasm with it, and it's the chorus is Jesus Christ was born today, and they're talking about Christmas Day. Number 14, immortalized in the original Home Alone, Brenda Lee, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Oh, classic.
I think I really love 50s rock and roll, and I think in terms of getting you into the holiday spirit, this nails it with the right kind of guitar twang, her vocals, and the saxophone interludes. It's played fantastically, and it's a good holiday time. Number 13, Peace on Earth / Little Drummer Boy by David Bowie and Bing Crosby.
Bowie in classic mullet form.
Did he have a mullet there? I don't think he really did.
He did. He had the hair coming back. It was like really short in the front, really crawling off.
Oh well, I mean, this is the point. I think this was the point, like right before he started his real Berlin trilogy. So he was in a weird place between Station to Station and Low. So I'll let him have it. But I think that is I've always hated the Little Drummer Boy as a song, and I think the way that this begins and it gets enough of the rum-pum-pum-pums to the point where you're annoyed with it, and then Bowie sort of changes it up and starts doing the Peace on Earth thing, and you're like, oh, this is kind of a different song now, so I'm okay with it. Number 12 is is super overlooked. It was a B-side off of one of the main singles from the album Purple Rain. It's by Prince. It's called Another Lonely Christmas. And it's personally, like I've thought about this song a lot, or I've listened to this song a lot around the holidays because I've been spending a lot of holidays just by myself, mainly because that's another story and I'm not going to go into it. But, so I think about that song really sort of resonates with me. But I think it's a really good one. It's about being alone at Christmas. Yeah. Number 11, the second greatest rap Christmas song. It is Christmas Rappin' by Curtis Blow. If you haven't heard this, you should hear it. I'll say no more. Now to the top 10. Elmo and Patsy, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I don't think it gets more fun in terms of just being a completely absurd holiday song. And yeah, I've thought that way since I was in first grade when I heard it, and I listen to it every year. Number 9, I don't care what kind of crap you guys want to give me. Last Christmas by Wham is a great Christmas song.
So good.
It's amazing.
So good.
Number 8, the greatest of hip hop Christmas songs. Give me a guess, Todd. I think you know what it is.
Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens.
Yes, Mom's Cooking Chicken and Collard Greens by Run DMC. And
that video is just
it's perfect. And then number 7, Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight by the Ramones.
Very good song.
Because inevitable, you're getting together with your family at Christmas time, and whenever families get together, fights happen. Number 6, Christmas Time Is Here. This is immortalized in Charlie Brown Christmas. This is by the Vince Guaraldi Trio.
Do you want me to sing it?
No.
Christmas time is
Please don't.
here.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Time for toys and cheer.
Oh my goodness,
And I
nightmares right now.
I think that song is actually beautiful. And number 5, the only good version of this song that I will listen to more times than one in a single sitting. It's Winter Wonderland by the Eurythmics. It's a I think it's a friggin' terrible song, but Annie Lennox's voice it's real good, and it makes this song gorgeous. Number 4, often popular hit. This is by John Lennon. Happy Christmas, the War Is Over. If you don't know that one, wait till I'm finished with my list. Go listen and then come back to me.
Yoko couldn't even kill that song.
Yeah, there was I mean, and Yoko killed some songs.
She lets it loose in that.
I mean, she did some good stuff. I'll give her credit, but she killed some songs. Number 3, one of my favorite groups, the Beach Boys, Little Saint Nick. If you don't like this, we can't be friends. Number 2,
I hate it.
And this was the podcast, everybody.
well, luckily we only work together now. So,
Oh, ouch.
so this is a weird one, but I heard the first time I heard this, I think it was in my early 20s. It was before my ex-wife and I were married, but I think she was home in her home country for Christmas at that time. And I was at a bar and I heard this for the first time, but it's a 70s kind of glam rock group called Slade.
Oh, yeah.
It's Merry Christmas, Everybody. And I think that in a lot of ways, this probably exemplifies just kind of the chaos but fun of the holiday season. And number 1 is a 13-way tie for first, and it's just because if you've never heard Phil Spector's album A Christmas Gift for You, it has the Ronettes, the Crystals, Darlene Love. I mean, they're doing Christmas standards.
The Wall of Sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Crazy Hair.
Sure, but that was the 60s. The production and just the amount of care that goes into these songs. And the one song I really don't like but refuse to sort of skip is Winter Wonderland. I think it's a terrible song on this, even by I think it's the Crystals that do it. But because it's in such stellar company all around, it still holds up. And those 13 songs are probably, if you had to listen to only one album at Christmas, that's the one you should listen to. Yeah.
Woo.
That's
Corey,
them's my favorites.
Matt, you're gonna have to put this list out there for everybody to check
Oh,
out.
I'm going to. I'm actually
Fantastic.
going to. I've actually started writing a little piece about each song, and I'm going to publish that this week.
Compile a DNA playlist,
And I have a DNA playlist that I'm going to post tonight after the show on Spotify. However, because of certain artists' preferences to streaming, I can't include Prince's.
That's right.
And I can't
he
include
has no
Slade.
opinion though.
Oh, well, I will share it on the Secret Friends Unite page.
Okay.
I think that's very important to put it on Twitter, all the fun things, because I think it's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So Matt, I love those picks. Corey, what's your favorite Christmas song?
I don't know. As most people that listen to the show know, we have a mixed faith marriage.
That's right.
Yep.
So the one thing we have been doing the last couple of years is we've been listening to Bare Naked Ladies, Bare Naked for the Holidays.
Great one.
Which is a mixture of Christmas and Hanukkah songs. So
I love the song with Sarah McLachlan. What's the song they do?
Shoot.
What about the Hanukkah song?
We
by
Three
Adam
Kings, Glory and
Sandler?
R, right? Isn't that the song? Lord of Wonder, Lord of Light.
What about the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler? You like
that's a
that
good
one?
song, too. Good
Yeah, but these Hanukkah songs are a lot funner.
O.J. Simpson.
More fun.
Not a Jew.
So Matt, I've got one for you.
Okay.
One of the ones it's a weird, ironic song. We've been talking about this on the Secret Friends a lot with Yacht Rock. Dan Fogelberg, Another Old Lang Syne. You know that song?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the most depressing holiday song where he meets a girl that he grew up with, and they hang out in a car drinking a 6-pack. It's very weird,
Dan
very
Fogelberg,
strange.
man.
Oh my God.
Dan
Corey,
Fogelberg.
if you get a chance, listen to it. It will depress you when you shouldn't really be depressed around the holidays. It's really a depression song, but that, and it's probably, one of my favorite songs is Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yeah,
Love that
that's a good one.
song. It's just fun. It's great, but yeah. And for new stuff, I would say this, Straight No Chaser does they do weird mashups of holiday songs with
Okay.
Jewish Christian themes.
Mhm.
I'll find the one song. It's absolutely hilarious because it does mix Christmas and Hanukkah really well together in a very fun fashion. They're
Okay.
not, so very fun.
All right. I would actually give another based on the depression of Dan Fogelberg there. Tom Waits put out an album a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
Bad as Me, and I think it's the closing one where I think it's called New Year's Day.
well he did one
And-
another one. It was like Minneapolis Christmas with the Hooker or something too.
Yeah, no.
not that one.
No, not that one. No. But like it's like super depressing. But at the end of it, they do the whole "should old acquaintance be," and it's done in that trademark Tom Waits fashion, and it's actually real beautiful, yet sad, but beautiful, but sad. So, well, actually, now Corey, you've mentioned the mixed faith marriage. Do you see any sort of friction coming from that at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just asking.
No, we're all good.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, his wife is from a mixed Christian Jewish
Mhm.
faith as well. It's kind of interesting. They celebrate both holidays. It's kind of fun to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Hanukkah Christmas tree.
That was what created by what was that show they created, Christmas Kwanzaa
Festivus.
or whatever?
Festivus.
No, it wasn't One Tree Hill. It was
Festivus.
they had the song California.
The OC.
Oh, the OC. Remember that where they had the mixed family. They created
I hated the OC.
yeah. Never watched it, but I knew they did that. Oh, well.
I hated the OC. It's bad.
Yeah,
Did not
so
like
that
those.
we have one of those, and we have Santas and Christmas trees and menorahs, and
Do you have Hanukkah Harry?
no.
Have you ever?
Do you have an
Hanukkah
elf on the
Harry?
shelf?
No, we do not have an elf on the shelf.
Okay, have you ever heard of Hanukkah Harry?
No, I gotta look this up.
Hanukkah
Okay,
Harry is an SNL skit, isn't it?
It is Hanukkah.
Yeah.
It is a SNL skit. It's absolutely hilarious. Really funny.
But
Download
if you want it now, speaking of holiday cheer, you want some fun times. Google funny elf on the shelf images. Oh man.
I think there's one from like Silence of the Lambs where the elf on the
where
shelf is putting
where there's
lotion
a
in the
Barbie
basket.
in a bucket and he's like lowering.
Yes.
My God.
Or like
There's probably a human centipede elf on the shelf too.
no, there has I didn't see that one, but I saw one where they had like a couple
Quick,
of
I need to buy some elf on the shelves.
like there was one where an elf on the shelf was sitting next to like a sink in the bathroom
Oh no.
with a camcorder, and there were bubbles and 3 Barbies in the sink. So it looked like he was. I also saw one with like a cocaine mirror that was a bit funny. For me, I thought it was funny, but I don't think anybody else might, but it was pretty great.
I think I got lucky and my wife never decided that we were going to do that thing. Thank God. My son's 11 now, so we're well past that. But yeah, that's.
We'll see. Here's the thing. I think if I ever had kids, I would totally make that elf on the shelf do some dark stuff.
Give him lots of like cutlery, like some things.
Yeah.
Scare the shit out of kids.
Like you see one that like there's a Barbie like wrapped up in saran wrap and he's like doing the knife thing. Oh man, there's some dark ones, but
we need like a Zuni doll on the shelf. And if you know what the Zuni doll is, you'll have nightmares.
Zuni
doll. Look it up.
What's that?
It's from a movie called Trilogy of Terror where this woman gets this thing called a Zuni fetish doll, and it basically goes on to attack her. And it's this little 12-inch tall, weird, freaky thing. If you look it up on the internet, it will give you nightmares.
Great.
I'm not looking that up.
I'll send you guys an IM with it later.
See, what I would like is someone to have like a little Chucky doll that has chopped the elf on the shelf's head.
Oh, that's coming. That is definitely.
That would be great.
Yes, that is definitely coming.
It's like, and just like there's like a speech bubble that just says, "Yeah, I'm naughty." What?
Oh my God. Oh boy. Do we want to do 20 questions?
Well, we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, I got a kid. Probably needs to.
Let's
see his
you know
dad.
what? Here, let's just call it. You know, you don't have to. We don't have to beat each other at 20 questions this week. Let's just go. You know, let's just go off into the sunset. Todd will come back, and then you guys can try and beat me at 20 questions.
That's right, and I will vow to be on the show more frequently in the future.
Dude, do what you can, man.
Definitely.
Do what you can.
You're one of the few people that have that open invitation to crash the show anytime you want. So
this is fun. I love this.
Yeah.
Maybe every other week you don't do Secret Friends. You should just pop on in.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm only doing one podcast, every 2 weeks now. So why not?
Yeah, dude, Todd, don't talk like this if you don't want to deliver. Don't tease me, bro.
Don't get us excited.
Bro.
Let me know.
Okay.
All right. Well, Todd, you wanna plug your stuff for Secret Friends real quick then?
Sure.
Before we start plugs, just once we're actually done, don't start the music right away. Go ahead, Todd. Now you can plug your stuff. That's an editing note. We're doing it live.
Thanks for having me on, guys. This has been fantastic. Once again, I do a podcast, Secret Friends Unite. It's on every podcast service in the world. We focus more on comic books, movies, TV. Sometimes I try to force video games on my co-host. Doesn't always stick. That's okay.
Usually it's something about the last Lego expansion pack.
Exactly. Lego Dimensions is always high on our priority list. I am going to try to make Charlie play Telltale's Batman, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, you can find us at Secret Friends Unite on any podcast service you have. Secret Friends Unite U on Twitter. And, hey, if you have any questions about comic books, contact me.
I'd like to see Charlie play Bloodborne. That'd be fun.
Oh my God.
That'd be great.
I played Dead Rising 3 with him once, and that was hilarious. He's like, "Oh, I can do that? Oh my God! Oh!"
I just keep dying.
Why am I killing him with a battery?
Oh my gosh.
Why not, Charlie? Why?
Secret Friends Unite is one of my favorite podcasts. I'm not gonna lie. I listen to it every time it comes up.
Your show's great, Todd. It really is.
I know, it's the best.
I'm the grumpy old man, by the way. Yeah.
Matt, plug yourself.
You're grumpy?
A little bit.
I don't know, man. You got to work on that. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Get off my lawn.
Music that didn't come out before 1985 sucks.
Wow, 1985.
God, that means I suck because I wasn't out till 1986.
Oh no, young Corey.
Oh, man, I was in first grade. Anyway, Matthew Keel, Infinite_Rewind. Everywhere I want to be. If I'm not there as Infinite_Rewind, I'm not there. So that's like PSN, Instagram, Twitch, Wii U. I think that's it. That's everywhere I sort of post. Been doing a lot of. I was doing DNA vlogs. I just haven't done one in I think a little over a week now because I've been a bit busy. But those are going to be starting soon, or starting up again soon. So look for those. And yeah, I also have a couple of pieces I'm working on for DNA.com. I know I've said that before. And I actually mean it this time. So I look forward to getting those out. Basically, I'm going to write something about my 20 favorite Christmas songs. I'm also going to write something about my 20 albums of 2016, as well as some other stuff. But I'm going to save that for later. Corey, take us home.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to NGR Radio. This has been episode 25 and the last episode of 2016. Our next episode is going to debut after the new year. It's crazy.
Are we taking next week off then?
No. It's still going to come out.
It was just, okay.
Unless you want to.
No.
I wasn't planning on it. I wasn't planning on it.
I mean, I'm probably going to be a little bit late just because of a work thing, but I'll definitely be there.
All right. We'll be fine. We'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow me at RogueSpartan4 on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and you can follow the DNA Network on... Where are we at? I'm sorry, I'm blacked out for a minute. Twitter at the DNA Network and on Facebook at the DNA Network. Join our community page. Check out our website at dnanetwork.net, where I've got a few projects I'm working on of my own. And like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube page. YouTube.com/Digital Nerd Advocates Network. Todd, thank you so much for joining us. I cannot wait for you to come back. Matt, I love you sometimes.
Love you too.
Most of the time.
I love you all the time, and I totally recognize that only sometimes I'm actually worth it.
And Matt loves you long time, and you guys both have an open invitation to the Secret Friends Unite podcast. And we will eventually get you all on. Matt, we had a huge podcast fail on my end, so I appreciate that.
It's like the
we will
third
work
time.
on your timing. We'll get you on because we promised this, but it was a timing issue. So, but you guys are fantastic. You guys are the best in the biz. Love just being part of this team.
I think Todd needs to listen to more podcasts.
No, you guys are fantastic. You guys are just have a great viewpoint. Corey, you're so positive. You try to share the love. Matt, you just bring the weird, and we love that too.
I mean, for so long, I thought I was wrong because my family didn't want to talk to me. But now you guys get to deal with Shaniqua. No, and then my little parting gift for you guys and all of our listeners. And watch the video for Todd's dancing, please. Please.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I hope you guys both have a Merry Christmas.
You as well, sir.
Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas.
All of our listeners.
Hanukkah, Christmas. I don't know how you say it.
Have a happy holiday weekend. unless you're part of something that doesn't have a holiday this weekend. So
Happy
happy Sunday.
Festivus.
Yeah.
For the rest of us.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, all those.
And incidentally,
holidays.
if you're not celebrating Christmas this coming weekend, watch on YouTube Charlie Brown Kwanzaa. It's hilarious.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next week, we love you.
Banana and out.
Be the hero, not the villain. You hate A Christmas Story?
Yeah, I hate that movie.
What are you, communist? Love that movie. Oh my God! You made baby Jesus. You made baby Jesus cry. Oh
Man.
Fun. But the words that came out of my mouth were not fudge. Yeah. My son's buddy was in A Christmas Story. The production was actually done pretty well. But yes, I totally get it. My movie, Sound of Music. Never want to see that movie ever.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through.
No reason to.
Yeah, like that movie is odd.
It's
Like,
fancy children, Nazis, odd.
I mean, I think it's kind of an okay story, but I don't think it's a good movie.
Well, it's a real story, right? The Von
Yeah,
Trapp
it
family
actually is.
real, and
Yeah.
but yeah, the whole like whimsical family, you know, Germans, and I don't just doesn't do anything for me.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen this Die Hard Collector's Edition that's Nakatomi Plaza?
It's actually the storage thing is Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is amazing. I've never wanted something so much in my entire life.
Did you see the ornament somebody made with Die Hard?
Of him crawling through
Yes.
the vent? Yeah, that was amazing.
That was pretty awesome.
That was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh, it comes with Blu-ray and a digital copy.
You know what's funny now? The 4K discs are now coming with 4K, Blu-ray, and digital. It's like DVDs, you know. It's trash.
I know. Get that out of here. Just I'll watch it when it comes to Netflix. I don't have time for all these different formats anymore.
Oh my God. I'm almost tempted because I have a 4K TV now and I've got the Xbox One S, but I'm like, I like 4K a lot, but I just don't see the point of spending a lot of money on a movie collection anymore. I just don't. I'd rather just rent it for $4.
Yeah, I might upgrade next year, depending on how life goes. But
I still like Criterion DVDs a lot, but I can't afford them anymore.
Do you guys rewatch things a lot? Because I do.
I used to. I don't really anymore. I love the Criterion collection that I have, and I'll never get rid of them. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of DVDs anymore.
There's just too much content. Everywhere you look, somebody's recommending something to you never heard of, and it's like it's the best thing ever. Gotta watch it.
Yep.
I used to buy everything that I watched and liked, but now I only pick out like a few things a year that I buy now. Like I bought Deadpool this year, and I've probably watched that. That's like the only movie this whole year that I've rewatched that came out this year.
Well, I think
I rewatched Civil War once, but
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's funny that some things are even as cheap to buy as they are to rent, though, which is the funny part. It's like, oh, I could spend an extra $1 and get it for free, or not get it for free because that would be money. Oh well, what am I talking about? My brain is toast.
I'm gonna spend an extra $1 and get it for free.
That's right.
The title of the
Free
episode.
money. It's free money.
Title of the episode.
It's free money. Look into my soul. It's empty.
You should just reference clips. We got it for cheap.
That's right.
We got it for cheap.